Have you ever been to Las Vegas? I haven't, but if you have, you'll know there's something particularly strange about the hotels that they have there. And it's that they're all pretty surprisingly cheap. Like a lot of them, I'm talking under $100 a night cheap. And it's not like these hotels aren't expensive hotels, as in what they offer. These aren't your small red roof and Best Western cozy mom and pop hotels. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those hotels, by the way. They serve great free breakfast. Some of them are resorts and have a lot of live attractions. There's even one place where they have their own like little private zoo and you can see flamingos. These hotels offer a lot. Not to mention they're also in a very prime popular area, and if you've been to anywhere like New York or something and you try to get a hotel in the hot spot in the middle of, Times Square or something like that, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg. So why are these hotels so cheap? There's a lot of reasons for it, but one of the big reasons is the gambling. Las Vegas is known for its casinos. And hotels normally have these little casinos inside of them so that people can splurge their money in hopes of making more. A lot of them, from what I've seen, are slot machines. And the probability of slot machines is very, very bad. Like, that's one of the gambling methods where you are very unlikely to win. And of course, they do that by design. But they draw people in with the low prices. And then people go there to gamble amongst spending their money on other things like dining in the hotel and other amenities they have. So the businesses end up making their money back and also profiting. The only way something like this can actually work is if the hotel goers do exactly what the hotels expect them to do. The predictability and irrationality of people is what's keeping these hotels from not losing so much money. As long as you know what makes people tick and how to influence them in a very strong manner, you can make seemingly outrageous decisions and still get the desired outcome. And that is exactly what Erewhon is doing. I know you're probably getting tired of hearing about Erewhon, but they've made so many interestingly smart business decisions that I can't not talk about them. For anyone who does not know, Erewhon is a grocery store out in LA that prides themselves with selling the best organic food, hot and ready meals and drinks, being a hotspot for celebrities, and most importantly, their redonkulous prices. Erewhon calls people like me poor in several different languages. But it's a good thing I'm not bilingual. Many people talked about Erewhon for their outrageous pricing or how out of touch the customers in the store itself seems to be. But as per usual, I'm looking at the psychological aspects of the entire situation. As much as I'm not a fan of the business or the store itself, I mean, I've never been, but something tells me that I won't really like it there all that much. But even though I'm not a fan of the store itself, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed by the success that it's had in such a short amount of time because of its business practices and the way it perfectly taps into human psyche to get the desired outcome. And while doing research, I found this article online where it's so well done. This guy literally took the thoughts out of my head and put them on paper. So I'm going to very briefly use it as a guide for my conversation because Safi, who is the writer of the article, touches on some really important business aspects of Erewhon that I want to talk about. So first of all, let's talk about Erewhon being an organic store, more specifically a certified organic retailer. Again, they pride themselves in having organic food with things like no GMO, no artificial ingredients, no hormones, cage-free animals, and stuff like that. So that's one thing that justifies the high prices. It does not. So here's the thing about organic food, right? First of all, there are plenty of stores and markets that sell organic food for way cheaper than Erewhon. I'm just going to throw that out there. But also, the label of organic food is just mainly marketing from what I've seen. And also, I had my biology teacher talk about this as well, my second semester of college. I would have loved to talk to her and like do a little mini interview to get her expertise on it. Unfortunately, it was cutting too close and I wouldn't have time for that. But upon doing my own research, I realized that there isn't that much research that supports the idea that organic food is significantly better for the human body. Like, organic food seems to have more nutrients in certain places, but it doesn't have much of a big difference on us as human beings if we eat them or not. Again, just as of right now, there isn't a lot of research. You know that there could be research in the future, but as of right now, we don't really have a lot saying that it makes a huge difference. Also, organic food can still have things like pesticides on or in them because of the soil that they're grown in. Sometimes it can be grown in soil that was previously used with pesticides and stuff like that. Also, some organic farmers just still use pesticides on the plants, but they're not as harsh as the ones if they were not organic. And as a very quick disclaimer, I'm not trying to discourage anybody who eats organic or wants to eat organic to stop. I am all down for eating healthier foods. Trust me, I am the label reader. I go in stores, I check ingredients. Call me crazy, but I don't want cancer or something. I imagine there still are a lot of health benefits in eating organic foods, and especially the way that the food market is today, specifically in America, it's just not the best. A lot of people are paranoid of what they're putting in their bodies, and organic food gives you a little bit more of a peace of mind that at least this food has, regulations at the very least. So again, nothing wrong with wanting organic foods if you can afford it, if that's something that you're looking into. That's perfectly fine. I don't want to discourage anybody. But I'm just saying the research that's out there and what we know about it, and that there isn't much to say about it when it comes to health. The difference in the health of organic food versus just regular food. So that's why I'm saying it's mostly marketing. It's more so they're selling you the idea of it being like, oh my gosh, it's so much better for you. It's so fresh and amazing. And it's like the protocols, while they are strict and regulated, it makes you wonder, like, how different are they really from like regular groceries? But again, the food being organic in Erewhon does not justify the prices, because there are plenty of other places that sell organic food for cheaper. Go to Whole Foods or Sprouts or something like that. You can go to Publix or Kroger and they have organic like food sections, or the food with the label on that says organic. You can go there and get it way cheaper. The food is just simply overpriced. Their profit margins are insane, and they're competing very closely with other food chains that have been in the industry for way longer than Erewhon and have even more stores than Erewhon. Everything there is just overpriced, and that's how they're competing with the rest of the world. And there's this really hilarious quote from the vice president of Erewhon or whatever. Something that he said when they were interviewing him, and something along the lines of, our cult-like following shows just how much, people care about their health nowadays, how young people are trying to go towards organic, healthier food. The way I scoffed like an old British man at that statement. No one cares that the food was organic. I'm just going to say what we were all thinking, okay? At least not the majority of the people who go there care if it's organic, because if that's the case, they could have went anywhere else. Again, there are several stores that sell organic food or are mainly organic, selling farmers market products or whatever. This is the same generation with their YOLO, I'm here for a good time, not a long time, type of mentality. I can assure you, your cult following is not because they care about their health. Remember that most of the time when crazy social events happen like this, it's never truly about the product itself, it's more about what the product represents. Or in this case, it's about what Erewhon represents for these people. I can assure you, once again, the majority, I'm not going to say everybody, some people genuinely go there because they feel like they're, getting good organic food. Again, by all means, if you can afford it, go off. But the majority is not. That is not why they're going there. They don't care that it's healthier. But moving on, just to speed through more of the business practices so I can get to what I really wanted to talk about. First, the obvious is that the store is just completely absurd. It's very out of touch. It's over the top, which is good for marketing, good for business, and good for getting attention. Specifically, grabbing the attention of low-life peasants like me who can't afford their products, and the upper class who can. Influencers and celebrities help spread the word as well, because from what I can tell, and also I think what they say as well, is that they don't really do marketing. I've never seen an Erewhon commercial, but to be fair, I'm not in LA, so I guess that's probably why. But the store does pretty much no marketing for itself. They just let everybody else on TikTok and Instagram give them free promo. The company strategically chose to grow slowly. They only open a few stores, regardless of how much success they could have if they open more, for several reasons. One, so they don't cannibalize themselves, and that basically just means drawing customers away from one store or one chain because you open another one in close proximity. So it's kind of like they're competing against each other, even though they're the same chain. It also creates scarcity and exclusivity. You have to come all the way to LA if you want to try their expensive, extravagant foods. The inside of the store alone is very aesthetic. Safi talks about the size of the store being kind of small, so it still gives that mom and pop vibe. The wood, the lighting, the way they built the place, like everything that they did was meant to to make it a pleasurable experience just being in the store. Everything they did was to make their store stand out from others and also to make it this little exclusive club. Very similar to Brandy Melville, it's that perfect combination of business choices. They've managed to make people enjoy doing something that we normally dread doing: spending money on groceries. So, quick question. When's the last time you checked your pantry or your fridge and you realize you have absolutely nothing to eat besides a moldy piece of cheese in the back and some stale crackers in the back, and you come to the realization that you must go grocery shopping? So you frolic out of the house ready to spend a whole arm and a leg on just basic needs because inflation is a thing. And now cereal costs your entire kidney just for a small box. Yeah, so grocery shopping, especially nowadays, is not one of the most exciting things to do. Especially right now when everything is just stupidly expensive. Just the basic necessities will have you leaving the store with only 3 grocery bags and somehow you spent $100. I'm not even exaggerating that. But shopping for needs is not really a super fun, happy thing to do. Most people see it as a chore, like it's on the chore list. Clean the bathroom, you wash the dog, pay the bills, go grocery shopping, especially because we're spending money on needs, which is not as fun. People already don't like losing money or losing anything, really. This goes back to the cognitive bias of loss aversion that I talked about when speaking about that whole Lily Gatus situation. Loss aversion basically is just the pain of losing is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining, even if it is the same amount. So if you lose $10, it just, I don't know, flies out of your hand or something like that, that is more painful than just finding a $10 bill on the street and gaining $10. It still hits you harder when you lose it rather than when you get it. It's the reason why we respond so strongly to negativity in the first place. A self-defense mechanism of the mind, if you will. So when we make really big purchases, especially for things as mundane as grocery shopping, it's not exactly fun. It's more frustrating than anything. Again, I mean, you go to the store, you buy only a few products, and you spend so much money, leaving with only the bare necessities. However, if you look at videos and TikToks of people buying from Erewhon or showing their Erewhon hauls, you don't see a lot of frustration in their face that they just spent $100 on 2 items.
So tell me why I spent $525 at Erewhon. Let me show you everything I got.
Here's a quick haul of all the groceries I bought from Erewhon for the week. I'm obsessed with Erewhon. And not least, I have to stay hydrated, so I get my water. It's so hard to open.
This is what $725 gets you at Erewhon.
This is what an $85 lunch looks like at the world's most expensive grocery store, Erewhon. And yes, I still cannot believe I spent this much money.
So the few times we're actually okay with spending money is if it's for a want. You may not jump for joy when you gotta go buy a pack of tissue, but going clothes shopping or maybe even buying something as big as a car. It negates that loss aversion that we have after we spent the money because of that dopamine rush and that pleasure that we get from getting whatever the item was. Making a big purchase on something that isn't a need is a lot more fun than spending your entire paycheck on something as boring as groceries that you need to live. That's no fun. So the point is, Erewhon managed to make grocery shopping an enjoyable experience, basically tricking the brain into feeling that pleasure of making a big purchase of a want when it's really a need. It's just groceries. I mean, besides the hot and ready food and the smoothies and stuff like that, again, there are plenty of grocery stores that have that. But for the most part, you're going there to buy what you need to live and go. That's not supposed to be something that you want to do. That's not supposed to be enjoyable. But for Erewhon, people want to go back there to spend more money on groceries. It's just so interesting to me how easy it is to rewire our thought process. Because if people recognize how ridiculous this is, they wouldn't be going there to spend their money. Going back to the example in Las Vegas, if people started realizing how low their chances were of actually, making a huge profit when going to these hotels to gamble and go to the casino or whatever, they'd stop doing it. They would just take advantage of the low prices and then just enjoy having to pay only $30 a night for a 5-star hotel, which some people do, by the way. A lot of people say they go there just for the low prices and they don't even bother gambling. But if more people did it on a bigger scale, these hotels would be losing out on so much money. But they know how to draw people in and keep them there. They know that people who go there is going to gamble. They can predict that very easily, so they always make their money back. If people shopping at Erewhon like step back for a second and realize just how badly they are being scammed, they would just go elsewhere to buy organic groceries for way cheaper, and then Erewhon would end up losing a lot of money. But humans, unfortunately, are not as rational as we would like to be. They played all of their cards right and made the most outrageous store so popular that people are willing to waste money for groceries that they could get anywhere else for much cheaper just to experience that rush of pleasure and the experience of shopping there again. That's pretty impressive. Of course, there are different factors that play a part in the success as well. They're obviously catered to the upper class. Like, it's obviously meant for people who have the money to spend on their groceries. Them putting them in the richest parts of LA shows that, again, of course, like they have a very specific target demographic, which is fine. I mean, technically, they can do that. As outrageous it is for me as somebody who cannot afford spending that much money on groceries, obviously it's stupid to me. But when you're rich and you have nothing else better to do with your money, I mean, spending a bunch of money on groceries makes you feel something, I guess. So there's different factors that play a part in their success, but specifically, I just wanted to talk about the psychological aspect of what it does to customers who go there and how easy we are to not manipulate, more influence, because those are two different things, but how easily predictable we are with our behavior to the point where people know that they can get a desired outcome regardless of how outrageous they make something. Like, if you know how the brain works, it doesn't matter what you do, you can still have people come to you to buy it. And I just think that's pretty cool. I just wanted to talk about that. But anyways, that's all I have for today. What do you guys think about Erewhon? Have you ever shopped there before? If you shop there, let me know what it's like on the inside, because again, all of my information is coming from online because I don't live in LA and never will. And I'm not going all the way to LA just to look at Erewhon. So if you've ever been, let me know how it is. But that is all for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.